Let's continue our conversation with a medical doctor who served in the United States House of Representatives and who we mentioned before the break has a son serving in the United States Senate right now. That, of course, would be our friend Dr. Ron Paul. Dr. Ron Paul, we heard your junior senator, since you're from Texas, assessing the doctors who are in the service of the Obama administration. What about the travel ban? Is it time for one?
Not a ban by government, but I think good common sense might work, in watching the people that are exposed over there and coming into this country. But for a government to just ban all travel, I'm not much interested in that. Besides, you got to put it in perspective.
Ron, let me just drill down on that for a second. I understand libertarian leanings, but aren't there legitimate public health questions that would commend a ban? Can we always depend on the good intentions of industry to self-impose that kind of ban?
Yeah, that's quite possible, but you got to put it in perspective. What if you wanted to save 15,000 deaths from AIDS this year? Why don't you ban certain practices that spreads AIDS? So we're talking about one person that's died, and we want to close down the world travel system. And yet, right now, it doesn't look anything like that kind of a problem. We lose over 500 people still die from tuberculosis every year. So you have a much greater chance, JD, of getting tuberculosis by flying an airplane. But you don't put a ban on everybody who has a cough, to get on an airplane. And right now, the flu season has started. You know how many people are liable to die? Tens of thousands. Actually, the estimate is between 3,000 and 49,000 people die every year from the flu. So if you really want to do good for the world, let's ban all people who have a cold, because they might have the flu, and we have to stop this. So right now, I would say a travel ban is politically motivated more than something done for medical purposes.
Well, point well taken. I appreciate that. I would be likewise remiss if I didn't turn to another story I want to get your opinion on. The whole notion of continuing negotiations with Iran over its possible nuclear program. The New York Times features an op-ed arguing that President Obama has to stand by his claim that no deal with Iran is better than a bad deal. What about the president's approach on Iran? We've got about a minute and a half here.
Well, I think too much emphasis is placed on this. How long has Israel been negotiating with the Palestinians? Everybody has hopes and always wanting to work, but nothing comes of it. And we've been interfering and trying to push Iran around since 1953, when we overthrew their democratic elected president, and we installed the Shah, and we've had trouble ever since. So I think we ought to just try to talk to people and get along with them, and not think that we have to dwell on the fact that maybe Iran might get a weapon someday. Quite frankly, I don't believe that is their goal. I think there's a moderate movement in Iran, and you might say, well, you have too much trust in people. But right now, Iran does not have the history of invading other countries. Compare what Iran has done to its neighbor to what we have done around the world. We're 6,000 miles from home. We're in 120 countries. We're surrounding Iran. Iran, if they had 10 nukes, aren't going to do anything, because Israel would wipe them off the map in about 10 minutes. So this whole idea that we have to roll over and say we'll do anything and we have to pursue this, we have to keep putting on sanctions and punishing the children and the people who suffer. Look at how sanctions destroyed Iraq, and Iraq is still in shambles.
Fair enough.
500,000 children died.
No sanctions against you, just time is up. Ron Paul, thanks for your time. We'll see you again soon.